This is not the Talaria Sting MX4, but this is, and we're gonna take it out for a test ride. Here we are at Lunicycle. Let's see if they'll let us take one out. Do you guys have a Talaria Sting MX4 here?
Yeah. Have you ridden Talaria yet?
Not Talaria, no. I've been on the Sur Ron though for about a year. It's like all upgraded and stuff.
You need to hit this little start button. It goes from eco mode to sport mode. What do you have your bike set to?
Wattage wise? Yeah. 12,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make like a little video on it, I guess, for my channel. Yeah.
Go for it.
It's quiet. Feels like a Surron. All right, we got this thing on sport mode right out of the box. Let's just give it a go. I mean, it just feels like a Surron, really. Obviously a little bit smaller than what I'm used to because mine's all like, you know, I have the extended seat and my pegs are dropped down on mine. I see right away like what everybody's talking about, how it feels like there's something a little bit more to grab onto here on the side. The Surron feels a little bit more metally right there. Let's just kind of play with the power a little bit. I mean, it doesn't feel powerful, obviously, coming from the 72 volt Surron, but I could definitely see the appeal. You know, why buy Surron anymore if you can just spend a couple extra $100 and get this? You know, this thing feels surprisingly heavy to me, kind of. Like, I think that the weight of this bike is actually the same exact weight as my upgraded 72 volt Surron, which weighs about 72 volt Surron on the scale. 71.4 on the front and 66.4 on the back. Wow, 137. So you're definitely getting a little bit more weight on this Talaria. I'm just gonna use my GPS, and this is not really the way to do this, but we're on 70% charge. I mean, it's hard to get excited about this bike coming from a 72 volt Surron. The 72 volt Surron but you know, like I said, I could totally see the appeal of this instead of buying a Surron, considering the value. Let's try and pop a wheelie. Oh yeah, nice. Man, I feel like it should have more power for some reason. It is 70% charged. Speedometer's accurate. Showing, it's actually reading a little bit high, I think. 25 versus 20. Yeah, they're pretty close. The question is, can you see this? Give it a little goose juice. 48. It's showing 50 on the speedometer, so man, this thing's actually quite a bit faster than my stock Surron was from what I can remember. That's pretty impressive, really. I mean, it won't like power wheelie though. Now it's only showing 46 going into the headwind. So the tailwind did help me a little bit, but it did say 50 on the stock display. Yeah, it does feel just a little heavier than I was anticipating. What are we working with on brakes here? I want to take a look at this thing. I don't want to be out too long on it either. So it's got the same pegs. We got the electric motocross motor on there. Rotors look bigger from what I can recall. It's a different rotor on the back than the front. Yeah, it's a different kind of rotor on the back compared to what they have on the front here. The levers on this feel nicer than the stock Surron. These are kind of like my Fast Ace brake levers. They have like a nice shape to them. They feel good. And then we get the Egg Rider display like right here. Right out of the box, so that's nice. Some suspension adjustments. I'm not even gonna mess with that. It's always fun trying a new bike. Interesting, this battery cover though, that might kind of restrict, well, there'll be modifications, I'm sure, but it might restrict a little bit, like how cleanly you can integrate an upgraded battery. This seat, from what I can remember, this feels like definitely a nicer seat from what I can remember on my stock Surron. Yeah, you can, I feel like I can tell that this one has a bigger battery than the stock Surron that I bought. Give it a little bit of juice here off the line. Oh, wow. Power wheelie. I probably shouldn't be wheeling this thing too much. Well, I mean, it's fast. That's pretty much what I could say is it's fast and it's fun. But it seems like it just kind of like runs out of power. Like once you're cruising at like 15 and you floor it at like 15, then like the front end doesn't like come up. But you know, when you're going more like 8 or something, floor it, oh yeah, power wheelie comes right up. So, but then when you're going like 20, floor it, then I feel like I don't have the same amount of torque. Brakes are making some noise. Huh. Brakes are feeling a little spongy though. They're kind of getting in there. Let's do full throttle on eco. Oh, go, 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 go. 20, 25, 26, and it's cutting off power. It feels like holding us at 28. So kind of like class 3 top speeds. Obviously there's no pedal, so it's not really a class 3 e-bike. I wonder if these little buttons here, you can adjust the power up and down. Doesn't, oh yeah, it does have different modes there. It's saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4. Oh, now it's on 4. Let's see if that changed anything. Oh wait, did that change the power up? No. All right, I don't want them to think I'm trading out my Surron for this thing.
I have a fresh battery if you want to try like fully charged battery.
Okay.
It is noticeable.
All right, let's try it, sure. All right, we're gonna swap out the battery here and try a fresh full battery. He said it's noticeable. It's got the same breaker box down there as the Surron. Connector's a little different. Thank you, man. That battery is noticeably bigger than the Surron. Yeah, let's try it on a full battery now. Give it a little bit of juice here. Man, I really wish that you probably can't see on the GoPro the speedometer, so I just read it off. But lean forward a little bit here, and full battery, 93%, ready. I weigh 200 pounds. Go. Yeah, I'd say it feels powerfuler. 40, 43. Yeah. Man, these things are so fun. Definitely underbraked, I would say, still. Woo. Yeah, the brakes are a little bit, it's a huge flaw of these bikes, really. And like the dude at Lunicycle, I don't know his name, said, it's noticeably heavier than the stock Surron. It really is. Like, just that bigger battery, that's what you get. I mean, it's a trade-off, but honestly, I'd always choose a bigger battery. I'd say, you know, throw a bigger sprocket on there, you get a lot more acceleration, pop that wheel up even easier. But even still, like cruising at like 20, if you gun it, it doesn't really pop up. Man. Front end comes down like pretty nice. Like suspension's not bad on this thing. It's like obviously same thing as the Surron, really. I think the thing with the Surron suspension though is it kind of like wears out. I do have the upgraded fork on my Surron. Compared to the fork that comes stock on the Talaria, I can't say that I really notice a difference though. So they say I think 8,000 watts peak on this bike. Definitely has like a solid torque. I mean, that's just really what the Sur Ron and these platforms are good for, the mid-drive motor. Compared to like an Onyx or any of those hub drive motors, they just give you like juice off the line, baby. Yes. So yeah, I mean, if I was buying a new Surron right now, today, Surron or Talaria, I'd probably get this. The only downside is just the aftermarket parts and stuff. Everything is available for the Surron, and it might not be 100% compatible over to this bike. I don't really know, honestly. Then the gearbox, a lot of people, you know, they talk about the problem with the belt, the prime or secondary belt, whatever it is on the Surron being a problem. I have not had any trouble with mine. And I'm running, you know, 12,000 watts on my 72 volt Surron. It's quieter than my bike. It's definitely quieter. I mean, that's largely due to, well, one, it's a clean chain, and two, it's an O-ring chain, I'd imagine. I can't look at it and tell, but it looks exactly like the chain that comes on the stock Surron. So on a full charge downhill, maybe we should just see what the maximum speed is. I can't hold my phone, unfortunately, to verify GPS wise here, but we'll give it a little rip down this hill and see what it can do. I'll just read it off. Hopefully you guys can see it. Let's just go for it, baby. 20, 30, 40, 50, 55, 56, 56, downhill. So I mean, 56 downhill, that's like, you know, theoretical max there. But I mean, we're passing the Audi, right? 30, 40. Yeah, man, this thing is a very potent toy to buy for 4,500 bucks. Do I feel like, you know, so my Surron build is at about 10 grand now. Do I feel like my bike is worth twice as much as this? I mean, that's a hard question to answer. Like, obviously you're getting a lot more value just spending 4,500 bucks on this. The thing is though, I mean, if you buy one of these and you're anything like me, you're gonna get a little bit power hungry. Like, this is gonna be an absolute blast. I had so much fun when I first got my Surron, and I had a great time on it for a long time. And then, you know, it's like you start to think like, well, if I just get this part, then, you know, it'll make it a little more fun, a little better, a little more efficient, you know, get a sprocket. Then it's like, why not upgrade the controller, get more power from the controller? This controller seems to be a little more powerful, but ultimately the back 4000, if you want to run a higher power, you're probably going to need something more than the stock controller. And then obviously the big one, the battery, man, the battery. I wish Chai would hook it up, and give me a discount code for you guys, but they won't get back to me. They're not cool, I guess, like that. So I'm just sending them free traffic for all my Chai battery promotion. But yeah, the big one, you know, the Chai battery. Once you go 72 volt, man, it really, really just turns it up big time. I'd say, you know, if you get one of these, you better be ready to spend some more money on it and a lot of time on it, because they are an absolute blast. Mine pretty much took over my entire life when I bought it. And for you know, it's a good thing. Like, it gave me a good fun hobby to start getting outside, and luckily I've stayed out of trouble and stuff. But Talaria Sting MX4, or Talaria Sting R MX4. This thing is a freaking blast, man. Look at these things. They're just cranking these things out, dude. Selling them one after another, probably all day long. It's good, man. I like it. Are you guys thinking about getting one? Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I'd recommend it, man. I have a Surron. I upgraded it, did like the whole Chai 72 volt battery thing. If I could do it, you know, if I was buying one today, I'd probably get this. Obviously, your money goes further than the Surron, but yeah, they're awesome. All right, we're bringing this thing back in before we get in trouble. Oh, and all that writing brought it down to 86%. All right, back out here on the 72 volt Surron. Definitely can tell, first thing I can tell is just seating position and the pegs. Such a big difference in like riding position and comfort. And then power, of course. All right, guys, cruising home. Just got off the Talaria. few final thoughts and direct comparisons to the 72 volt Surron. Pretty much the huge difference is this bike, the 72 volt, just does not run out of power. Like on the Talaria, if I floor it when I'm going like 30, it kind of like bogs down. This one, front end comes right up, man. So like, obviously that's the difference between a 72 volt system and a 60 volt system, but they say the Talaria is like 8,000 watts peak power. This bike is 12,000 watts peak power. And to me, this feels like way more than 50% power more. Doing the math, you know, 12,000 watts is 50% more than 8,000 watts, but this just feels like more. Like cruising at 20, that would just loop out if, you know, if I kept the throttle down. It doesn't, I mean, that feels more like, I don't know, like 2 times more power to me at least, or something like that. However, like on the low end, starting from like 0 going to, I don't know, 20, the Talaria felt like pretty much all the power you would need. Like on this bike, you know, if I'm going like, on this bike, if I'm going, you know, like 5 miles an hour, you cannot use all the power. Like it just loop out. Pretty much even if you're sitting all the way forward. So really like the big meaningful difference between the two bikes, this modified 72 volt Surron compared to the Sting, is what happens after you're going already 15 or 20 to whatever top speed. It's night and day difference. Now one other big difference I want to talk about is the motors. So they're different kind of motors completely. It's like an IPM motor on the Talaria, whereas this is a different kind of motor. So the tuning and stuff, I don't know like what the aftermarket's gonna look like that. I don't know like how soon somebody's gonna come up with a controller that's as good as like the setup I have on this bike. You know, this is the BAC 4000 controller with the Emoto Bros tune, which is pretty awesome in my opinion. So whether or not you can actually get like a 72 volt tune on the Talaria Sting R anytime soon, that's gonna be powerful and potent like what you can get on out of the box tunes for this bike, that's a big question mark right now. Now, will it happen? I'm sure it will. I mean, I hear that the IPM motor, whatever the motor is on the Talaria Sting, is gonna be potentially more potent than what comes on the Surron. Regardless, I do think the motor that comes on this Surron is like more than enough power than you would ever need on one of these bikes. Like it has plenty of acceleration and I would not want to go any faster than, you know, mid 60s on this bike. I'd never go that fast anyway. So anyway, that's pretty much my final thoughts on the Talaria Sting and comparison relative to my 72 volt Surron. If you guys enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up, drop a comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.